Today's show is sponsored by Center County Highway Revolt. Have you ever wanted to take a day trip to a small Pennsylvania town or hike through the beautiful Appalachian Mountains, but don't want to deal with all the traffic, the high gas prices, and windy mountain roads? The Center County Highway Revolt is a citizen-led initiative trying to save farms and forests, combat climate change, and boost small-town economies by building a rail transit network all across the state. And their plan calls for connections to existing Amtrak trains. Learn more and get involved at centercountyhighwayrevolt.org. CityCast Pittsburgh is brought to you today thanks to the Greater Pittsburgh Festival of Books. This year's fest is Saturday, May 31st at the Carnegie Library of Pittsburgh in Oakland, where you can immerse yourself in the region's vibrant literary community with a free event that features bookish fun for all ages. Hear from award-winning authors like Rachel Khong, Tori Peters, Sharon Flake, and so many more, plus Grammy Award winner and poet Judy Collins. Visit pittsburghbookfestival.org to register and learn more. Today on CityCast Pittsburgh, summer is here. June is so full of fun stuff to do here in Pittsburgh, from outdoor concerts and ghost tours to pop-up beer gardens and a Juneteenth boat party. We are so excited to be outdoors with y'all. The CityCast team is sharing our favorite ways to get out in the city this month. It's Thursday, May 29th. I'm Megan Harris, and here's what Pittsburgh's talking about. I'm a CityCast Mallory Falk and Sophia Lowe. It's summer mostly. I think we made it.
I mean, it's a little gray out as we're recording, but Pittsburgh summer is going to include a little gray, and that's okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, if your marker of summer is endless clear blue skies, then you can never have a Pittsburgh summer. Yeah.
But I think summer is a state of mind. If you're on vacation and you're having a good time, it's summer. I don't care what the weather is.
Yeah. And by vacation, I mean that 5 minutes you carve out of your workday to just go take a happy little walk around your block, you know?
Totally. Exactly. State of mind.
So what are y'all looking forward to doing this June in Pittsburgh?
My favorite part of June in our city is always the free summer concert series in beautiful locations. So I am very excited about the fact that some of these free concerts in city parks kick off in June. There's Stars at Riverview. That's on Saturday evenings in Riverview Park, and you get to hear some nice jazz music, some nice live jazz.
Right next to that observatory. I think the play on the stars and all that with that historic space, where we developed all the telescopes and the technology. I just think it's so fun.
Yeah, and then if classical music is more your speed, on Sunday mornings in Mellon Park, there's Bach, Beethoven, and Brunch. That's from 10:30 a.m. to noon. And so you can hear a little classical music. People always show up with some nice bagel spreads, the Sunday paper. It's a whole vibe, a slightly different vibe than Stars at Riverview.
Or, if it's me, I am on my phone reading the Sunday paper or, playing games.
I was about to say, I think there's a lot of Pokemon Go happening over there, too.
A brunchtime activity for everyone. But then, the other concert series that I really love is Summer Fridays at the Frick.
Fricky Fridays!
Does anyone call it that?
Me.
Sophia does. Okay, we're officially changing the title to Fricky Fridays. But yeah, so this is, throughout the summer, you can go attend live music on those beautiful grounds at the Frick. The first one this year is June 27th, and they're going to have Barrels to Beethoven, which I guess is this group that's all about preserving the steel pan and steel pan music.
Ooh, that's fun.
This event is also free, but they do suggest a $5 donation for every adult who attends. There's going to be food trucks there. And then at this one in June, there's also going to be what's called an instrument petting zoo, where kids can play around with different instruments.
Oh,
yeah,
that's fun.
So they can touch them and hear how they sound. It's super fun.
And then also a group is going to be there, the Farina Foundation, where they're collecting instruments for their donation drive. So they, make music more accessible. So there's going to be a lot of really nice stuff there at this first one. And then they'll have concerts, throughout the rest of the summer. That is always a great time and a really good way to experience that space.
Yeah, my tip for that though, if you want to like lay out on the lawn and actually have a seat close up to the music, is to go early because they do get crowded pretty fast.
Yeah, and there's limited parking over there too. This is the big museum and garden space over there where the mansion is. So not Frick Park, but the Frick Museum.
In Point Breeze, yeah.
I am thinking a little bit about thrifting. This is all your fault, Sophia. If you heard if you heard our episode earlier this week about thrifting furniture and like where to find stuff like that, like kind of how to navigate neighborhood yard sales, first of all, definitely check out the episode. But also, there's some fun ones coming up that we wanted to shout out. So this weekend, there's a big one in Troy Hill. On June 8th, there's a neighborhood sale in Highland Park. On June 14th, you can check out the Mexican War Streets. And then there's some big ones June 28th and 29th up in Wexford to benefit Conquer the Colony, that local cat rescue that especially I feel like our newsletter editor, Francesca DeBecco, just loves. She shouts them out a bunch. But Sophia, you talked a little bit about this in our episode earlier this week, and I thought it was just so fun that like, especially when it's a neighborhood yard sale, first of all, you get a lot of bang for your buck because you can walk, like you can check out a bunch of stuff all at once. But number two, you also get like a sense of that neighborhood's like flair and history just by digging around all its old stuff. So if you want more hot tips like that, definitely check out our show.
My tip for these neighborhood yard sales, if one is in your neighborhood, I would suggest just like, a week or two in advance going for a stroll and seeing if there are any lawns that have both a for sale sign and a yard sale sign.
Whoa.
Because then you know who's going to be really clearing out their house, and then just like make sure that that is the first stop on your yard sale tour. I definitely have a very regal looking home in mind that I am going to hit up first when the neighborhood yard sale hits.
Okay, I wasn't thinking about the for sale signs. That is a really smart idea.
Yeah, because they are going to be pricing stuff to move. Good tip, Mallory.
I hope I didn't just screw myself out of some nice goods because everyone's going to be running to the same houses now, but that's my pro tip.
I mean, we just listed 4 different neighborhood yard sales. You'll get another weekend to try again in the future.
Sophia, what about you? What are you excited about in June?
So I am really loving the Metamorphosis reading and event series. This happens at the White Whale in Bloomfield. It happens monthly. It's been going on for about a year-ish now, but it really centers queer and trans writers, so I think it's a good time to check it out during Pride Month. I actually talked with the organizer to learn a little bit more about what happens behind the scenes. His name's Amari Onyx, so I'll let him chat a little bit about what inspired him to create this.
It's a queer and trans-led event series with the goal to connect queer and trans creatives, writers, or just anyone in community. But the main goal of the reading series itself is to center and uplift emerging queer and trans writers that are based in Pittsburgh. And also just to create a fun space for people to be together, to make new friends, to build community, to get connected to different resources, to get connected to different artists, to just build relationships with one another in a space that's fun, safe, and inclusive and celebrates queer and trans art.
So basically in the reading series, it's set up sort of like an open mic. You'll see a bunch of chairs. The people reading their work are at the front of the room. But something I really love is that there's usually a community group or another artist invited to table. So I've also seen zines there. I've gotten some really cool shirts from Bad Bitch Thrifting. So I love that it's not just a reading. And also the people there are so friendly. It's so easy to just chat up the people who are sitting next to you.
That's really fun. I also feel like I've seen some of those shirts, Sophia. You have very eclectic taste as it relates to your summer wardrobe.
Thank you. And if you're interested in submitting to Metamorphosis, you do not need to be published anywhere. One other thing I really like is just how accessible it is to get up and read. You can check out Metamorphosis Instagrams to see when those calls for submissions are. It can be poetry, part of a short story. People have even read from their graphic novels. So literally anything you want to read, just as long as it's under 10 minutes. And I'll let Amari talk a little bit more about what you need to know to submit.
I was noticing a need for a space specifically for queer and trans writers to share their writing and to share their work that they're excited about and that's new, because something that I've noticed in my experience just working in publishing or working in book selling is that it's very difficult for writers to get readings or to book events with stores or anything like that unless they have a book published, like unless they have a new book published, it's difficult for writers to really kind of have a platform. And so I was noticing that need, and I thought it would be really meaningful to create a space for people who aren't yet published, or maybe they're published in a few literary magazines. Maybe they don't care about being published at all and they just write to survive or write to be creative. I thought it would be really meaningful to have a space in the city that's specifically curated and dedicated to queer and trans writers.
And last thing I want to mention, anyone can come to Metamorphosis. I know Amari's talked a lot about queer and trans people, but they emphasize it really is open to everyone and they want to see everyone really there. So the reading is like, quote unquote, the main event. But again, check out that Instagram because there's also book clubs, and Metamorphosis has also included a clothing swap, book swap. Some author talks are kind of like sponsored by Metamorphosis. So really, if you're in the literary scene in Pittsburgh, I definitely think this is something that you should check out.
I really like that this is a space where you don't need that like stamp of publication to be able to participate. That's really great.
Oh, for sure. And like you said, Sophia, Pride is already in motion. There's the big festival and parade coming up this weekend.
And CityCast Pittsburgh will be there. So look out for us. Come say hi. We also did an episode earlier this week talking about some of the big events this weekend and through the month. So definitely check that out as well.
And if you're looking for more stuff to do, like kind of throughout the month of June into July and August, really, definitely check out Qberg, the queer media outlet here in town, their community calendar, because they, first of all, just always have like so much stuff happening all over the city.
Yeah,
it's so stacked. But they also highlight a lot of the neighborhood and other like small borough and municipalities, like their Pride festivals, like Mount Lebanon and Millvale and like all over the region. So definitely check that out too. I also wanted to throw out that our city and county pools should be opening anytime now. Usually it's like the middle of June, but I have seen all kinds of different dates listed over the last few weeks. So if you are excited about dipping your toes in the pool here in Pittsburgh or Allegheny County, definitely look up the one you want to go to and the hours it might be open as you're listening to this. It should be any day.
Yeah, I will be checking the City of Pittsburgh's website every single day until I figure out when the pools are open. Then I'm buying my house a whole pool pass, and we are all living at the pool.
Hey Pittsburgh, today's show is sponsored by Pittsburgh Pride. It is back, it is bigger, it is bolder, it is gayer than ever before. Get ready for a full week of love, liberation, and celebration across the city with Pittsburgh Pride 2025. It all kicks off Sunday, May 25th with the Bigger, Gayer Picnic. Think sunshine, chosen family, and all the queer joy you can pack into one Pittsburgh park. Then on Friday, May 30th, put on your formal or your fiercest. It's the Pittsburgh Pride Prom, followed by the legendary Emerald City Kiki Ball. Yes, the ballroom scene is turning out. Saturday, May 31st, brings the Pittsburgh Pride Festival Day 1 with a free concert featuring Vienna Vienna and American Idol alum David Archuleta, lighting up the night at 7 p.m. And finally, if you can handle it, Sunday, June 1st, come march with your community in the Pittsburgh Pride Parade. Then stick around for the festival Day 2, closing everything out with another free concert starring Jay Howell and the iconic Lil Mo. For all the events, all of the info, head over to pittsburghpride.com to plan your perfect Pittsburgh Pride weekend. That's pittsburghpride.com. Come as you are, show up proud, and we will see you there. Today's show is sponsored by the Dollar Bank Three Rivers Arts Festival, taking over the 15th Street Plaza in the Strip, June 5th through 8th. Arts Fest has changed a lot over the last few years, but it remains free and totally focused on music and art and handcrafts and the very real and wonderful humans who share their talent with the city. You can plan for free music concerts with headliners like Cautious Clay, Souls of Mischief, Tierra Kennedy, and more. Plus, there's always a bunch of local acts from Pittsburgh, so it's a great opportunity to find an artist that you can see again and again here in the city. The concerts are from noon to 9, and in between those sets, check out the Artist Market, where you can find ceramics and jewelry. So many goodies from folks far and wide. There are also ways to get involved. Garba 360 is doing an interactive dance lesson. Ibiji Drum Ensemble's doing a drum circle. The Pittsburgh Cultural Trust finds us so many great folks, and Arts Fest is always a blast. Find the full list of events and learn more at trustarts.org/TRAF. So let's move on to some food and drink recommendations. For June in Pittsburgh, what are y'all looking forward to?
I am looking forward to using the app Too Good To Go way, way more. Are you all familiar with this, or like have you used it in Pittsburgh?
Look, you came in the other day like full of energy about this, and I'm going to be honest, I'm not sure I understand it yet.
I actually downloaded this app when I lived in Philly and then was too lazy to ever actually take advantage of it. So maybe I will get my act together a little more when we're in Pittsburgh. But Sophia, explain to the crowd, please.
What is this thing?
So obviously not Pittsburgh specific. It's been in the US since 2020, and this whole app launched in Denmark. But Too Good To Go sort of like hit the Pittsburgh market at the end of May. So not a ton of stores on there, but the idea is to basically reduce food waste. So when restaurants or sometimes even like grocery stores have that like surplus of food, they'll release it on the app, and basically it is a free-for-all. Act fast, act very, very fast, depending on what restaurant you're trying to go to. You can reserve a surprise bag, and then you get some food, and everything there is pretty cheap. It's usually like $5 or $6.
Oh, so you still have to pay for it?
Yes, you do need to pay for this. This is not free food, but it is still like heavily, heavily discounted.
Yeah.
I've gotten some pretty sweet deals. Like I went to a deli, spent $5 on a bag, got a bunch of hamburger buns, a bunch of hot dog buns, egg salad, chicken salad, like cut up fruit. So like depending on where you go, there is enough food to last more than one meal.
And so basically the deli says, hey, we've got surprise bags, click to claim yours, and then you show up and get it?
Yeah, do you just like knock on a back door? Like, what's the vibe?
You go in and you show them the app. You're like, I'm here to pick up Too Good To Go. So it's basically like picking up something if you did like a Grubhub or like Uber Eats, but like you're going yourself instead of getting a delivery driver. And, you know, pickup times vary restaurant to restaurant. So some of them will be pretty late at night. Some of them you can get sort of like midday. So if you're interested, I really do recommend exploring the app. Like I said, still new to Pittsburgh. So I hope more restaurants will come up soon. But I think it's really great for trying out like local restaurants. Like one place that I finally got my hands on was Pie Bird. So good. Got 2 pies for I think the price of 1. So another good deal.
It also seems like a great, like if you have a day where it's just been a long day and you do not have it together to make dinner.
Or like
just
make a decision about dinner.
Yeah, exactly. You can just see like what's for offer and just like leave it to the universe what will end up in your lap.
This also kind of reminds me of like 412 Food Rescue too. Like it's another app that it started in the Pittsburgh region and now is all over, but it's like a thing where you can sign up and it's also for minimizing food waste, but you go and pick up food and then take it to an organization that can use it. So it's like in a similar vein, but like for other people, it sounds like, where this is like to help you feed yourself.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think with 412 Food Rescue, you're really becoming a volunteer who can then help deliver like excess food to organizations that feed people.
Do both.
So yeah, do an act of service and then separately grab a little treat for yourself.
Yeah, while you're in the car, like double duty. Yeah, perfect. I'll throw out a couple of beer-focused events that are coming back for the summer. So there's Beers at the Berg. They're doing one of their big festivals on June 7th at Cary Blast Furnaces. I am so in love with their merch this year. I don't know if y'all have seen the hoodie that they have for sale, but it's like a perfect copy of the hoodie that Dr. Robbie wears in the pit, where they've made the Beers of the Berg logo match perfectly Pittsburgh Trauma Medical Center.
Wait, what?
It's incredible. It's just like a navy blue hoodie that like looks exactly like what he's wearing.
I really hope Max doesn't come for them and try to claim a copyright or something.
I like this connection a lot because now I can wear it without feeling like a total poser, because not a fan of beer, but I am a fan of the pit.
Yeah, it's so good.
I thought you were going to say, because I'm not a medical professional. And that was
well, everyone
poser
already knows
element.
that part.
Neither a medical professional nor a beer drinker. And yet here we are. Another one is the Parks on Tap. So that's also coming back. It's a big beer garden that's run by the Parks Conservancy. It does happen once a month throughout the summer and into the fall. But they do like little specials and different things like that. So this one is going to be a Summer in the Parks lager. It's supposed to be a light lager with like zesty lime for that essence of summer. The event this month is June 27th. That'll be at the Shenley Parks Visitor Center from 3 to 9 p.m. And they're going to have pizza from 77 Club.
Well, I'm going to take you south and across the river to the Holy Cross Greek Food Festival that's happening June 9th to 13th. I've actually never been to this one. This is aspirational for me. Okay. I've only ever been to that big Greek fest that's in Oakland.
That's a good one.
Yeah, so this one is at Holy Cross Greek Orthodox Church in Mount Lebanon. We talked about the Greek food festivals a little bit in our early spring and summer guide, but I have heard people say that this is the Greek fest to catch. I've been meaning to make it for years, and so it is absolutely on my list this year because there is so much food and it all sounds so good.
Yeah, I previewed the menu for this because I found out you can order ahead.
Of course you did. You always do the research, Sophia.
Yeah, online ordering starts June 2nd if you want to get your,
June 2nd? You can pre-order a week in advance?
Before. This is a tight run ship.
I know. I'm impressed.
But they have like some areas outside where you can eat. So they'll be serving up things like kebabs and gyros there. And the dining room menu is what's most similar to their online
multiple
ordering.
Menus?
Yeah, multiple menus. Like I said, tight ship. So this has things like lamb, chicken, spanakopita, all those things. Again, if you want to do takeout, the menu's slightly different, but you can expect
so 3 menus.
4 if you count the pastry menu. If you also can't decide, they have a dessert sampler. And I guess maybe 5 menus if you count the bar. They have like beer and wine options too.
Also dancing, a marketplace, tours of the church. Now I'm looking at the website too. They really have a little something for everybody over here.
Okay, as the most indecisive person of all time, because I am a Libra, this dessert sampler is designed for me. I can't wait to try it.
Last up, some fun events coming up to mark your June calendar for. So I'm going to start. There's an event coming up at Prototype Pittsburgh. That's the one in Oakland on June 7th called Recreate Your Favorite Clothes. Mallory, I think I'm feeling this is like my aspirational one this month. So you're supposed to bring a piece of clothing that is already in your closet that you already like. You know it fits you. If you wanted to tweak anything, it would be teeny tiny. But you learn how to trace the pattern of your own clothing to like clone your wardrobe at home. I think it sounds like so neat. And I really want to learn how to sew, like at least a little bit. Like I can't even do a button. I feel really helpless in my own clothing.
Oh, I can like fix a hole in a shirt, but this is the next level.
Yeah. And so you can bring like fabric if you want to do it that way, or you can just like, they'll teach you how to do a paper pattern. So you can take it home and try to do it yourself. But the teacher bios on these are just extraordinary. There's Jean, a self-taught stitcher and quilter, bookkeeper and plant dad. There's Morgan, who says she's been sewing casually for most of her life. And there's Grizz Cross, who is a community organizer, fanatical DIYer, and has sewn professionally for 15 years. So if that group of expertise can't teach me how to like handle a button, then I am not helpable. That's all it is.
I believe in you. I think you can do a button, Megan.
Or at least learn how to trace my own clothing.
I also think you can do that too.
I feel like this could heal some childhood trauma for me because I was wearing my favorite pair of cutoff overalls as a child. I had an unfortunate run-in with the edge of the freezer door and bled all over these overalls. And since then, I've learned to never feel attached to a single pair of clothing because you can never get it back.
That's dark.
But so I never knew that you could kind of create your own insurance policy and duplicate your favorite pieces. So I think I'm going to go and do some self-healing at this workshop.
It's amazing. I love this journey for us, Valerie.
Well, since Mallory took us to a dark and scary place filled with blood, I am going to talk about some spooky events for Friday, June 13th. So these are with Dark History Pittsburgh, which does haunted walking tours. So one thing that looks super cool is this event they're doing called Superstition Edition of Master Deceased Theater.
Whoa.
This is in McKees Rocks. So it's going to be a night full of revelry and superstition and storytelling. And Dark History Pittsburgh is also bringing back the 13 Club. So the website says that the goal of this club was to kind of like dispel the bad vibes around the number 13. So people in this original club would do things like break mirrors and all of those like, you know, supposedly unlucky things.
Okay, but Sophia, if they're having to bring back the club, that tells me that maybe the original members met a tragic end and that's why.
Or at least the club did.
Yeah, it needs to be resurrected.
Yeah, you know, why not? I don't know what happened to the club, but maybe it's not all bad things. Who knows?
Maybe that's part of the storytelling event, is you learn what happened to the original club.
But if you're interested in joining the club, there are a few membership levels, so you do need to pay. They are limiting founding members to 13 people, which I think is
Of
really
course.
fun. And then they'll have other options available too. They're requesting funeral attire for this event. I am really obsessed. And I guess maybe that does mean that bad things are going to happen. I don't know.
Or at least that you need to be in, you know, proper attire to experience it.
I hope they do a seance, but anyway, it's 8 p.m. at Castle Consortia. And again, that's in McKees Rocks. But if, you know, you don't want to bring bad luck to your door, Dark History Pittsburgh is also doing a ghost hunt. So this is in Carnegie. It is from 7 to 10 p.m. and it starts at their Historical Society.
Okay, I've seen ads for this one. This one's like just more of a straightforward like walking tour.
Mm-hmm. And maybe you'll see some ghosts.
Ghosts of the original members of the 13 Club.
No. Do you think the McKees Rocks ghosts get all the way down to Carnegie? I'm going to throw it out to Meadowcroft. I really love Feats of Strength, and they're doing such a cool one. It's an atlatl competition on June 14th. So I guess it's an annual competition, but you get to try to throw an atlatl, which is like a hunting spear. Have y'all seen this thing?
I have
It
not.
allegedly predates the bow and arrow. So you get to like
Ooh.
try literally your hand at being like a prehistory human.
That sounds really fun. I would hurt
I think
someone.
it's so fun. I mean, I assume that they've got like an open field so that if you are not well practiced with your aim, you won't harm anyone. But they're going to have experts there from a World Atlatl Association that are going to show you how it's really done. I think this looks so fun.
Oh, then never mind. I would not throw there. I'm going to embarrass myself.
You embarrass yourself and then you watch what other human bodies are capable of. It's so cool.
We have different approaches to being in like the presence of a world expert.
I think it's like the Olympics. Like you're watching from your couch and you're just like, oh my gosh, how could you be so terrible at this? And then you actually try some basic beginner version of it. And you're like, oh, that is how you could be this terrible.
Okay, fair. Based on your face, though, Mallory, I don't know if you're doing any spear throwing. What are you thinking about instead?
Yeah, that makes me a little too concerned for my own safety and the safety of others around me. But, you know, one of the biggest events in June is, of course, Juneteenth. And so B. Marshall is back with his annual event, the Western Pennsylvania Juneteenth and Black Music Celebration. He's been doing this in some form since 2014. So this is going to happen from Thursday, June 19th to Sunday, June 22nd. The big parade and march will take place downtown on June 21st. It's described as celebrating voting rights and the end of chattel slavery in North America. But then most of the other Juneteenth festivities are going to happen in Mellon Park this year. Mm-hmm. Usually this is all held at Point State Park, but of course there's a lot of construction going on down there and throughout downtown to get ready for next year's NFL draft. So it's going to be moved to Mellon Park. So there will be free concerts, freedom talks, a youth fest that has sports tournaments and activities for kids.
More public sports. Perfect.
Yes, and these don't involve like ancient materials, I don't think. There's also going to be a boat party on the Gateway Highway Clipper.
Oh, fun.
So lots of different events throughout that 4-day stretch. And then there are other like different Juneteenth events all throughout the city. But one that I really wanted to shout out is the Anquinique and Friends Celebrate Juneteenth. So Anquinique is this amazing multi-genre artist here in Pittsburgh with a background in jazz, soul, opera, and classical music, and is going to be doing this concert with music from different Black composers. So there's a performance Saturday, June 14th at the East Liberty Presbyterian Church in East Liberty, and another one on Thursday, June 19th, so on actual Juneteenth at Emerald City, Pittsburgh, downtown. So those seem like some really great performances to check out.
And reminder, if you ever need more to do, we have a running list of events on our website. That's pittsburgh.citycast.fm/events. And if you join our membership program, CityCast Pittsburgh Neighbors, you get a dedicated email every single week with a curated list of our favorites.
There are some other great perks too, so you can find all of the details at membership.citycast.fm.
That is all for today here on CityCast Pittsburgh. Shout out to our newest CityCast Pittsburgh neighbors, Bon M and Morgan F. Thank y'all so much for supporting us. If you want to join our growing community of neighbors and get ad-free podcast listening and more, sign up at membership.citycast.fm. We will be back tomorrow morning with more news from around the city. We'll talk to you soon.
You know what? I'm basing that on attending this when I was a kid.
Ooh, only a mild 30 years out of date.